on your screen who are going to be playing the matches here.
Exactly, and we are in Champion Select. We finally got around to it. It is, of course, going to be the Garena All-Stars versus the LPL All-Stars. China versus Southeast Asia. Bands coming out here, starting off with the Garena All-Stars. Malphite and Jarvan. So one for PDD there, one for Troll in the jungle. Lee Sin taken out, Kennen taken out for LPL, and a Twisted Fate finisher. Messiah, his favorite ever, and what his most known champion, I think we can safely say, he's not going to have it today.
This is so smart. The question was going to be Rumble or Thresh, and this puts GPL under pressure because LPL is going to take Rumble and or Thresh if they can get it. They ban Sona, which means Stanley takes Rumble, they get Thresh, and then don't allow that sort of second pick support that we've seen them want so badly. And so they are going to take the bait. They're going to say, yes, we were going to take Rumble. That was their plan from the get-go, to steal that from PDD. And so now, I mean, I have to expect Thresh. I have to expect probably the Zac jungle as well, to me, is the likely pickup there. But we're going to wait around. We've still got a few more seconds for them to make their choices.
Well, Kha'Zix's one that's been left open here in this one. And, well, you were close, but...
No, not at all.
For that one, Freak. Kha'Zix and Karthus locked in here for the Chinese LPL All-Stars. And, well, that's off the bat two very scary champions.
Those definitely are, and those are just huge, huge playmakers, right? They're champions. Karthus especially is a champion that both Messiah and Toys plays just exceptionally, exceptionally well. The Kha'Zix can come in there as a jungler, as a top laner. I'm trying to think, because IG is a team that will swap their AD carry and mid, like Zitai and Kid will swap. I guess neither of them are in this game, so it doesn't matter, but then one, like, Zitai will play AD carry and Kid will take Kha'Zix, and so it just depends on who's the expert there and who's going to play as the champion, but I guess like it's probably going to be PDD on that Kha'Zix there.
Well, we did see the Thresh and the Varus locked in there, as you can see on the model list behind the players. Now, that support and AD carry role locked in for the Garena All-Stars. On the other side, it looks like we're going to be seeing a Caitlyn.
This is really funny because the GPL picks, half of them are big-time GPL picks. They're champions that are super, super common. Their Thresh is up there, Varus is up there. Rumble is like almost never banned. Out of 120 games, he was banned only 8 times in the whole like GPL 1.5 seasons. But they grabbed it so quickly, they're trying to pick LPL champions.
On the other side, LPL going for Hecarim, another one that's very, very popular over here in China. And, of course, the support locked in for that one was Lulu. Over on the other side, we are going to see an Orianna here for Toys. Not going to be AD this time around. And a Zac there locked in for the final pick.
I really, really love this GPL lineup. It's so well put together. They got a nice mix of stealing picks from GPL. And the thing is, Stanley plays so many champions, there's no way he doesn't know how to play Rumble. You've got the Toys Orianna. You've got Hallelujah. It's interesting because Harla is a supporty jungler. He's not a farm stealer like Insec or Diamond or Troll. And so you'll see kind of a more low econ Zac, but Stanley, Toys, and Shawi can all take lane farm. That's okay. Having a support jungler works here because they're all playing carries otherwise.
Well, it looks like that last pick is going to be coming in for Wei Xiao, and his support player, Zhao Zhao, of course, from Invictus Gaming, is going to lock him in that Caitlyn. So final pick there for the LPL All-Stars will be Caitlyn. So a Caitlyn Lulu bottom lane. That can be a scary lane in itself.
Yeah, that's one of the best, probably literally the best 2v1 lane in the game of traditional picks here, because they both have line nukes that can wave clear incredibly well. Lulu's doesn't even have fall off for hitting multiple minions. You've got the shield, the hex for disengage. Caitlyn can disengage, put traps down. They can poke enemy champions under their turret because they're both long range with their basic attacks. These guys will crush a turret so very fast. And Rumble does not have wave clear. He's okay getting 1v2 and he'll survive and he'll play through the game, but Stanley will have a really bad time in 1v2.
Yeah, and we shouldn't underestimate the wild growth as well from Lulu, which I think is something that is looked over a little bit. The fact that you do get that knock-up from it as well with the likes of Thresh in there. If someone you don't quite want to be hooked in there does end up getting hooked through, you can wild growth and knock the Thresh up, and all of a sudden you might be able to turn something around there. So a couple of great lineups here coming out for both of these teams. The bands that we really expected to come in there, the Twisted Fate in particular, did come down, but always interesting to see that the Rumble, the Thresh, Kha'Zix in this case as well was left open. Really heavily fought for between the teams.
And that's just, it's so funny because the Chinese teams, like, they're very secluded in a way. We don't see them internationally a lot, and they actually play a lot of the same champions. So a stat I want to bring out is the number of champions that are picked or banned more than half the time. So in North America it's 7, in Europe it's 8, in the GPL region I think it's also around 8, and in China it's 13. There's this group of champions that the players will not let go of and will play over and over again and say, no, these are the ones that we want to play, and they just play each other over and over again. And so the Chinese teams are like, yeah, we want those guys. GPL steal a few away, and they made their own lineup here, and now they've got to work with it.
So here we go then, it's game number 1 of the Garena All-Stars versus the LPL All-Stars. Southeast Asia versus China. And the crowd getting behind their teams for the start of this one. But let's have a look here at level 1, because specifically over with the Garena All-Stars, you know, you've got that hook in there from Thresh, which can be absolutely devastating. Nothing really similar to combat that or to really weigh up from the Chinese, though.
It's going to be just an interesting sort of setup here. So human line of scrimmage so far is where these teams have gone in the early game and saying, look, we don't want to risk anything too deadly just right now. We'll start the game out defensively. Stanley, so I made a mistake here talking about PDD with it before. Basically, he's opening up Flame Spitter and spamming it on cooldown to build his heat above 50. Once he's there, he's going to do 25% bonus damage with the Flame Spitter, and he'll actually gain heat by spamming it. So he wants to get to that 50 mark and then just start messing with people with a lot of heat.
Start bringing the heat onto the Chinese side. We'll see if that can work out. We see there 2 wards down in the tri-bush. Right now, the Green All-Stars got 2 up on the top side, 2 on the bottom side. A similar scenario here for the Chinese LPL All-Stars as well. So a pretty defensive start to things. Neither team wanting to put any kind of risk. However, we can talk about lane swaps here, because it looks like the one thing that we can see definitely is that Lulu and Caitlyn, Weixiao and Xiao Xiao are going to that top lane.
They absolutely want to 2v1 this matchup. That was their goal from the get-go. Go mess with Stanley. He's the best equipped champion. You know, unless GPL 1 and 2v2, which they don't. I mean, it's way better. It's way better that it's Stanley than that it's Toys taking that for their lineup. However, the LPL squad have already set themselves up something nice. PDD's already got blue buff and level 2 going into this 1v2 lane.
Well, right now, Chowie and his support, of course, mistake going down into that bottom lane, so they are going to be sorted in that one. Xiao Xiao just having a bit of a peek over towards the enemy blue buff there, getting wards down. It looks like Troll is going to be headed over, galloping into position with that Hecarim. Zach is actually just switching over onto that blue side of the map. Well, I think there was a ping to retreat there, and this is going to be a blue buff stolen away by the LPL All-Stars.
This is so smart by them. They have that 2-on-1 in the top lane. They know they have the numbers advantage. Oh, was that Smite stolen? Sorry, I lost.
No, it was Troll. It was Troll.
All right.
No problems just yet. That's why.
Sorry about that.
The Chinese crowd here can throw you off. They get loud about some small things for this one. But he was obviously able to pick that one up, and of course the blue buff went over on the other side, I believe to Kazakhstan in that bottom lane there as well. So a little bit of an interesting start coming out. GPL All-Stars already starting off on the back foot there. You can see that blue buff for PDD, and that is an ideal start when you're going to run a 2v1 lane like this.
Absolutely. He's got a decent amount of experience. He can spam his ranged ability, that Void Spike, to try to last hit, try to wave for a little bit, keep his turret alive. He's in way better shape than Stanley in this 1v2 situation. So now it's on what can Hallelujah do to turn that around and make this not as bad as it is for them.
Well, Troll is actually coming down here, and this may just be in the nick of time. He's going to try and force his 2v1 lane away, and may end up getting hooked in. The hook is going to land here. Troll will be able to get back to safety, though, and not too dangerous. One thing that we always talk about is the ganks through this tri-bush. Zach almost removes the need to do that because of his elastic slingshot. He can jump so far to underneath that turret that you almost don't need to take the tri-bush angle, and he is going to jump in right here, and PDD gets the safety.
Great reflexes by PDD. You can see, or I can see because I can see the wristbands lighting up. You can hear the crowd cheering every time this Chinese squad makes a good move. It's going to get loud when they do something even crazier than that, but I'll see what ends up happening with this one. Right now, though, Toy's not in a good spot.
Troll's coming in from behind here. They did get a wall of pain down. Toy's going very low. Will be forced to flash away, and that is flash burnt in middle. You can't really afford to be playing aggressive now when that horse is on the map and you've got no flash.
Very, very good job there by Troll overall, and that's going to make things risky for him. He's now looking for that top lane maybe for a dive. Thing is, he has clearance to do it. They've got so much work from this top lane. He's going to choose to counter jungle instead.
He's actually got a level over Hallelujah here, and he's going to spot his position. Hallelujah just actually going in there, smites the big wolf down. He's like, no, Troll, you're not going to steal that one. Meanwhile, in his bottom lane, Mistake has taken a lot of damage here. They need to be careful, the Garena All-Stars, that things don't get a little bit too hairy for them on that front. Troll has just taken the Wraith camp. And Chowie is starting to push in there right now. The hook not quite landing on towards PDD, but that tower has taken a battering.
And the GPL team their AD carry is winning in minion kills as well. So Chowie, right, he's that ringer, right? I mean, Wei Zhao, everyone knows him. He's an amazing AD carry. Chowie's coming in here from SGS. We didn't even see that team in the Season 2 World Playoffs. And Chowie's doing very, very well, has the highest minion score, and he's very, very close to killing off that turret if it weren't for Troll.
Yep, Troll is in there. Are they going to start to push forward? Mistake is actually almost up to full HP after we said he was low a little bit earlier on. He is Stanley in that top lane, and there you see the danger of that Caitlyn Lulu. They can hammer you up from range, and especially with that headshot from the passive of Caitlyn as well, it can become dangerous.
It absolutely is, and you know, this is, again, 3.6. Caitlyn still triggers headshot by hitting turrets. This is going to be the turret right now for GPL.
Yeah, this will be turret number 1 of the game. They're going to leave the minions to finish that one off. And that may just be instantly countered here. Wei Zhao and Zhao Zhao are still pushing that top lane. Stanley trying best he can with that flame spitter to stop it happening, but he will be finished off here. And that leaves us bang even on gold, bang even on turrets, and I suppose we could say on kills as well. Still no first blood.
So what I want to point out right now is make those comparisons to the top lanes and the AD carries. A small lead here first, but here comes a fight on Toys. The counter kick for Hallelujah.
Wow, a shockwave coming down here. They're going to go in towards Messiah as Hallelujah comes around the side. Troll is chasing down Toys. Don't forget he's got no flash. Here comes a Requiem, and there is first blood coming out. The shield from Mistake, not quite enough to keep him alive. First blood for China.
Absolutely great play by them. Troll is making his presence felt and finding those places to gank. Of course, it is not hard to gank a mid laner who does not have flash anymore. Toys thought the counter gank would have worked with the shockwave, but Messiah did disengage and then say, guys, I have a global. Thanks for first blood.
Yeah, backing straight away to safety from that. But look at this, the Garena All-Stars. They are going to be grouping up here in that middle lane. They lost their man in the middle, but with the fact that they've got the AD carry, the support, and the jungler there, they may try and put some damage down onto this tower, or Troll may just go for them. He's got his ultimate up. Mistake going to go low. Troll goes low himself. Will he die? Yes, sniped off in the end by Chowie. Mistake actually still alive there. The ignite was not enough to finish him off. 1-1.
And I just gotta wonder, is there a Caitlyn trap and a random brush to steal that one away? It looks like not. Chowie did pick up the kill credit there, so right off the bat, it makes me think, look, who's gonna be the big carry? AD carry Chowie or mid laner Messiah? Because those are the guys with the kills so far. They're the ones with the quick early lead.
Wei Zhao. This is where Wei Zhao gets really dangerous. He's got time to farm, free farm on his own. We've seen it time and time again. He almost disappears from the map for a while. He's not on the radar anymore. And then when you do notice him again, he's built up masses and masses of CS. He's obviously only a little bit ahead right now, but that's pretty commendable considering that Chowie and Mistake could force them to force that bottom lane out earlier than the LPL All-Stars in the top lane. They've switched that and come to this 2v2 at bottom.
So now I want to watch these matchups here because this is a 2v2 and a 1v1 where both teams are pretty much equal. The items are identical for the AD carries. The farm heading into that top lane was identical for the top laners as well. So now it's kind of a rehash of the skills competition. It's, look, okay, Chowie and Mistake, you didn't do so well, you know, against Double Fennec Special, but here's your chance to sort of redeem yourselves in this matchup. Can you do it here?
There is blue buff for Messiah. Toys already got that one a little bit earlier on, and Toys is ahead there when we look at the creep score. Wei Zhao was just off to the side, and this is one of the beauties of Zaken. You know, similar jungle sim, the Jarvan, for example, that can slide through the wall. They're able to get a start on an early dragon.
And that's such great play by them, and part of that was due to that bottom turret being dead. They got to start the shove, push the minions all the way up. The pink ward has been down there for about 2 minutes. They had the pink ward and realized, look, the Chinese team just apparently doesn't care about this. All right, we can run for it.
Yeah, That's the early push, and they are going to land the hook in onto Xiao Xiao. He's going to go down. That was just destruction there. They actually used quite a lot to secure the kill. We saw the ultimate out of Rumble, out of Varus as well in there. So used a couple of ultis, but better to use them than to let that kill go.
It's actually really good for them because Dragon's already gone. There's no big team fight objective on the map in any amount of time soon before those ultimates come back.
Hallelujah, just diving over the side there, doing a lot of damage. Carter's forced to flash away. They didn't want that shockwave to have the ability to knocking him down. And there is Wei Xiao again. Talked about it earlier on, constantly pushing. Is almost going to get himself back to a 10 CS lead here.
This is that Team WE play style, right? Caitlyn is self-sufficient. She can disengage very, very well. As long as Xiao Xiao wards enough for her that she doesn't get jumped on by Zac out of nowhere. PDD on Kha'Zix to do the same. He wave clears incredibly well. He scales so great off of items, and he can escape with Leap and with his slows and with his invisibility. Messiah can just hold the mid lane and farm and just share globals, and then Troll can just make his presence known wherever he wants. This is WE playstyle right now.
Yeah, and PDD had managed, you know, in those 2v1 situations to get the better of things. Let's not forget he had a blue buff as well at the start, which definitely helps you out to spam those void spikes and what have you. He's currently 20 CS almost in the lead. This is going to be turret number 2 here for the LPL All-Stars. There's no one around currently for the Garena All-Stars. They're actually headed top to try and counter it.
This is actually a very, very good move by GPL. The funny thing is, the Chinese could have kept pushing bottom, but they don't have enough vision to know kind of where everyone was going. Turns out it's like a 5-man group top. That secondary bottom turret could have been killed by Wei Xiao if they wanted to.
Wow, Hallelujah diving in there, and PDD says, not today. Hits him with the void spikes. Hallelujah just backing away from that one. And that is a scary Kha'Zix, obviously. Hallelujah and Stanley saying, we can't really stick around. They're going to clear out very, very quickly, and it's not really worth being in trouble there whilst trying to get that turret down. Currently in gold, it's only a 200 gold difference, so it's not even that as you watch it tick over there. And it is, of course, the Garena All-Stars who have that very slim lead.
And the funny thing is, that's a 100 gold lead with a dragon to their favor. So the actual minion farm is going the way of LPL. If the game just sits like this and they're allowed to just farm for a while, they'll probably keep growing this lead as well, which spells bad for GPL's late game.
And we can see the late waves coming out from Carter. It's already doing good amounts of damage. I mean, that's a catalyst and a tier in there for Carter. It's not like he's really got any power built up into that one just yet, Messiah. So something to keep an eye on that front. That would be for sure. Let's have a look at the CS and how it's developed again. In that top lane, or certainly the solo lane, PDD and Stanley, that's improved for PDD at this point. 85 to 55, 30 CS difference, and overall a 300 gold lead. That's with Dragon. We should, again, point that one out.
Yeah, exactly. There's actually globals in the favor of Stanley. And this is actually... So it's funny because it doesn't matter a lot for Stanley, but it matters a lot for PDD. So none of the back line of GPL is all that safe, right? None of them have good, amazing disengage tools. Like, they have crowd control, and that's nice, but they're not Ezreal. They're not Karthus, where you could just blink away or you don't really care if you die.
Oh, there's a hook on towards Xiao Xiao. He's in a lot of trouble. The boxer's going to go down, and he flashes perfectly timed there. There's a snipe from Chowie, but he flashed over.
Oh,
there's a lantern to save him. And that was a fantastic move, just at the point where I thought, oh, Chowie's gone a bit too deep. He's got the lantern to save him. Are they done? Yep, hallelujah. Going to go in, but not too deep to attack Troll.
Dude, the forethought from Mistake there was amazing. He's like, Xiao Xiao can only get away by flashing this wall. I'll lantern to reveal who's there that might protect him. Oh, nobody. Go flash the wall. By the way, when you're done flashing him, come hop back across, Chowie. Don't worry, I got you covered. He thought like 2 steps ahead for that one, and it paid out beautifully.
Garena All-Stars are currently... Oh, forget that, because Chowie's coming down bottom. Wei Xiao was just doing the golems at the time. But there was a big pile of Garena players just getting up towards that top area. Wei Xiao now is going to be still pushing. He's going to have Hecarim here for a little bit of support. Chowie is going to start to back here underneath his own turret, but they're stealing away jungle as they go, and that is going to be a red buff. That's not something that the Garena All-Stars really want to be losing at this stage.
And the thing is, GPL has the same stranglehold on the top side of the map that LPL has on the bottom side of the map. The thing is, GPL's not realizing they can steal Lizard right now. It's up, if I'm not mistaken. I see the minion marker at the very least. Yeah, the Lizard is just there, and they're not realizing they have the control to just take that away. So, I mean, the Chinese team are sort of more aware of their advantages and taking control of them.
Yeah, look at Green All-Stars just looking to get that turret finally, which they've managed to do. That's given them the turret advantage back at 3-2, and thus the gold advantage has climbed a little bit in their favor to now 500 being the difference. Look at this Troll, has gone back to that red buff, the lizard buff that we were talking about, and he's going to take that for free here. Where it probably should have been stolen away, considering how the patterns of vision and control were at that point.
So now it's up to what do these teams do, because GPL has been the more, I would say, aggressive teams in terms of looking for fights, and you can see that by looking at the AD carries. That's actually really, really telling, because LPL says, look, Wei Zhao, go be your late game carry, keep running to a side lane and taking farm, we'll deal with the rest, we want a big Caitlyn. GPL, they've been pulling Chowie into fights a lot. Chowie's been in every single kill of theirs because they're looking for fights. He's not getting nearly as much farm as Wei Zhao, but he's farming champions, so he's still keeping up.
No, but we are going to be seeing Green All-Stars going for Dragon, and they're going to take Dragon as the hook is landing here on towards Stroll, and they get everything down. The boxes in there as well. Mistake gets the kill. The shockwave landed onto Wei Zhao as well. Messiah is going to be taken down in this one. He's going to get his ulti off here, which will take out at least Mistake, and that is one back. But right now, the kills are going to start raining down. Chowie is low. Stanley is super low. They're not going to keep chasing this one. Oh, what a snipe from Chowie. Comes across the side there. They had a ward down in position to give them the vision. Great ending to a crazy fight.
Oh, Chowie, in his interview he said, I like playing caster AD carries. I used to be a mid laner. There's those mid laner caster carry mechanics right there. I mean, that's basically the AD carry version of a needly spear. Just like, and you're dead. Thanks very much. That was so impressive by Chowie. And you know, to go back a step as well, I can't believe LPL turned that fight around so well. They got their Hecarim killed for free and said, yes, fine, we'll run through it, we'll take him out.
What? Who do you give that fight advantage over to? I mean, Dragon was taken by GPL. It was an equal fight for all intents and purposes. And the kills, look at Chowie now. He's 4-0 to Bloodthirster, Zeal, got the Avarice Blade in there as well.
I want to say it's like literally exactly equal, with one caveat. So Chowie and Wei Zhao each got 2 kills and 1 assist. And the difference, though, is that Messiah got one of the other kills. He's at 2 now himself. But Mistake, the support of GPL, has 2 kills himself. That's actually a bit of a detriment. They don't have gold completely on the right people.
Well, right now he does have an Oracle after that, and he's starting to clear things out. He almost walked into Troll and said, nope, I'm not going to be playing with that. I want to get myself away. There's a hook, nicely dodged by PDD. He's not going to fall into that kind of trap, but we see Green All-Stars. We talked about the stranglehold that they had on this top side of the jungle of the LPL All-Stars, and they seem to be continuing that trend here. As we hit 18 minutes, you know, we're not too far away from the stage where they'll start pushing those inner towers, and that's when that jungle vision really comes important.
Exactly, and you're seeing that the teams are already trying to prep for it. GPL still feels like the stronger squad. They're the ones pressing forward. They're the ones warding aggressively as well. That's where they feel comfortable, thinking that, look, we're still better than you. We can still take these turrets down. And heck, that mid turret's down to half. They're kind of showing it.
Yeah, that is in one push as well here. Messiah taking a big chunk of damage. There comes a snipe, and a 3-man shockwave comes out. They didn't follow up there too well, but they're going to keep going through. Troll trying to keep them away, but the Karthus ultimate will come down as well. They're going low. Only Varus is dead at this point. Zhao Zhao is very low. Hallelujah. Stanley and Mistake all running for their lives. Here comes Caitlyn. Here comes the Kazakhs. Can he get those resets out? Toys is going to go down, and they kill Kazakhs off there. And I think he would have hoped to do a little bit better from that one as he was backing away from, as he was running into them, I should really say. But either way, for the Chinese side, that's 3 kills for 2.
That was really, really impressive. The fight start there from GPL was so good. They caught Messiah, and they caught him outside of defile range. The Tendril Corruption went to him and helped finish him off, so there was no defile damage. But the counter engage was just so good. PDD got enough early damage from Hecarim, from Caitlyn, and from Karthus that he could get the resets, jump onto people, and clean up that fight pretty well.
They've lost their blue buff here now, as well as Hallelujah and Chowie start to move out. They're paying off towards Baron, which I don't know, less than 20 minutes into the game certainly would be a long Baron kill, that's for sure, and I don't think something that they'd necessarily want to risk at this stage. I think Xiao Xiao and Wei Xiao just going to be headed back home on that top side of things. Let's have a look at where we are with gold, because there's been a swing in that right now. The Chinese side actually have an advantage by around about 500.
They've equalized the turret kills to 3. They've been kind of, I guess I would say, winning team fights just a little bit by a little bit over time, so they're scaling quite nicely. Xiaowei gets the blue buff there, and this is the scary thing, because Wei Xiao has been in rough spots a number of times during these fights, but refuses to die. He got nearly caught out at that Dragon fight where GPL took Dragon and fought them, and Wei Xiao managed to escape anyway. He's got barrier up now, and it's a 5-kill Caitlyn with IH Phantom Dancer. Wei Xiao is huge right now. He's actually, now that he's past Xiaowei in kills, is going to have more gold individually by about 380. And if you can't remove a fed Caitlyn, she's going to kill your team.
And we see Xiaowei, who gone a bit of a different path this time around, going in for that static shiv along with the Bloodthirster. What do you think about that item, the static shiv, at this stage of the game, being so close?
So I actually like his build a lot. So he's basically playing as a caster. Bloodthirster Varus is not uncommon at all. It's stacking up attack damage to make your abilities deal more. Static Shiv I like on caster carries a lot as well, because you get that initial extra 100 damage burst on your first auto attack that even spreads in case you didn't quite hit the right guy. When you look at what this GPL lineup is trying to do, it's group a bunch of people together, hit him with a Shockwave, hit him with the Equalizer, hit him with the Varus ultimate, and heck, for good measure, static shiv all of them on top of that. He's really playing into his team comp. He might have built the same thing anyway, but for what it's worth, it does build on the team comp here.
So right now, Dragon is coming up in just 20 seconds time. GPL All-Stars are just waiting here over on that south side of the river. A couple of wards being thrown over the top of the wall. So there's double buff, of course, on Wei Xiao as well, which, I don't know, just makes him even more scary than he was a little bit earlier on. As Garena started to come out there, I thought they might try and get in after Hecarim. Never going to be an easy target to lock down with that speed that he can move. Oriana Ball just being moved around there by Toys. Will he find his target? Wei Xiao was hit, but decided not to follow on through with that one. And that Dragon has now spawned, and the Green All-Stars have pushed LPL back, so they may have a chance to get in. There is a Shockwave coming down on towards Messiah. There is a Chain of Corruption as well. They've got the first one. Xiaowei picks that one up, but can they continue through here? Karthus ulti is going to take him 2 down, and we still have PDD alive. He gets one. Hallelujah. Not going to escape this one, and this will be kills left, right, and center for the LPL All-Stars. They've got 4 out of 5, losing just 2 of their own.
That is so brutal for this GPL team, and a lot of that is just that they don't have a good answer for Messiah, and they're healthy enough here they could even try for Baron, and it's only Xiaowei to defend that.
Yep, they are going to be starting things off here. Xiaowei is over in that top lane, and he's actually recalling right now, so he's not actually going to be in a position to stop that one from happening. They've got plenty of time till, well, even Hallelujah, who of course has a smite on that Zac, is going to be even spawning. So this is going to be a Baron. It's taken them, as I said before, a long time to get it down, but long time or not, it's a vital pickup.
That's absolutely huge for them. Every member of that LPL squad had revived by then, so 5 people will have that Baron buff. Their team has about a 2,400 gold lead, and every single team fight has gone just barely their way. Hallelujah is still trying to get a runic bulwark. He's been trying all game, he's still not quite there.
So you had a great answer for the static shiv there, Freak.
Yeah.
What do you think to the locket of the Iron Solari on Varus?
It actually kind of works is the thing, because their backline is getting bombarded by Requiems, right? They aren't surviving the AoE team. They just are trying to basically prevent resets from PDD. Like, Xiaowei doesn't get to kill anything if he's dead. So, yeah, he's losing damage output for it, but I understand the logic. No one had money. They needed a locket for Requiem. It's like, screw it, Xiaowei, it's on you. Sorry, dude. Good luck with that.
I'll give you that one.
I mean, it's the only thing I can think of. They need that item. They really do.
Makes a lot of sense, and that Requiem has been the thing that's been tipping the balance, I think we can safely say. They've been trying to back away into safety once they see that go down after killing Messiah. Right now, though, the LPL All-Stars are pushing down this middle lane, and they've got Baron on, let's not forget, so they're going to be literally stripping as much as they can away from them, Wolves included, as they try to starve the Green All-Stars from any kind of farm. They're going to be on the defensive until this Baron buff is finished.
It's absolutely going to be the case. They can look for a hook right there, and we've seen them start fights off a Thresh hook or a Verisalt. Equalizer comes by and they kill one person, but almost every single time the Chinese team have found a way to answer for it and either equalize in kills or go +1. So I'm not even sure what opening is even available for GPL here.
Yeah, I think it's a case of really sitting back from this. It's shown that they can't really do much, and this position, this inner turret for the blue side, you're very pokeable from a good few angles, and especially from a Kha'Zix who can Void Spike just into that tower range with those upgraded Void Spikes here as well with a Spike rack on. Yeah, and now a couple of pot shots coming out from Wei Xiao, and that's simply the plan here, and that's all they have to do at this point. When the wave comes, few hits from the AD carry, and at some point it's going down.
Well, they have so much sustain with the Baron buff, and they have poke with Karthus Wall of Pain and everything else. They're going to go in.
Shockwave actually landed onto Wei Xiao, but he's not going to be focused on. He's right at the back as PDD does decide to jump in there. It's 2 kills coming down. Are they going to be able to clean things up? Here comes Karthus. Here comes Chowie from the PDD from the back, and he is going to be able to pick himself up too. Triple kill coming out for Wei Xiao as well, and that was an ace for 2 once again here for the Chinese side.
And this LPL squad is just so aggressive that their backline is free to do whatever they want. Messiah dives in with PDD, dives in with Troll. Xiao Xiao takes part as well. And Wei Xiao can sit there like, no one's even touching me, and cleaning up the fights every single time. Wei Xiao's getting the cleanup. He's 9-1-4, but I gotta say the entirety of this LPL squad is making this team work.
And that's the interesting thing about it. So the shockwave went in towards Wei Xiao, which is almost the ideal start to a fight for them. Maybe if they got a little bit more than just the shockwave on Wei Xiao, but when there's no follow-up and there was no attention paid to him whatsoever, what are you going to do about it?
I mean, it's going to be hard to do much about it. Let's actually check a replay of that last fight, because you can see just how strong this LPL squad is. So Messiah runs in. Shockwave did not stop Messiah. And so you get the disruption in there from the Hecarim, and you just get to clean up everybody, right? They're just walking forward, dealing damage. Wei Xiao is just sitting there saying, hey, I got to make a last hit there. I got a last hit there. He flashes to steal away the triple kill onto Chowie, but just the amount of disruption from Hecarim into Kha'Zix into Karthus, it's hard to actually focus the right target. You're feared for half the fight anyway, and you just kind of get melted down.
I mean, they actually started to try and back out as well, I think, once they realized, all right, Shockwave did hit Wei Xiao, but that's all it hit. And it's right at the back there. We can't follow through with that one. And the LPL All-Stars doing a great job of following right up on top of that one. They're currently 4,200 gold in the lead, 4 kills and 5-3 in turrets. Everything going to plan for them so far here on home soil, and if you can't already hear the crowd definitely behind them for this one.
Yeah, this is a hometown crew. We've asked if this was going to be too much pressure for them or if they were going to thrive in this environment. Right now, it looks like they are thriving. They're still undefeated on the weekend. They're going to go in on Troll, though.
They're going all out on Troll here, who's already had a couple of ultimates thrown his way, and he'll say, not likely. I'm just going to get myself out of there. Not really a problem. He's going to recall in the bush just underneath, and that will be, you see there that the Green All-Stars even using what Equalizer went in there. We saw a lot used to try and take him down, and they didn't really do much to him. He's just under half HP for that many players on him.
It's a very, very tanky Hecarim here. A lot of defensive items on him, and you can see just how difficult it was for this squad to break him down. So now the turret goes down. That's 6 for LPL. What the GPL squad really needs to do right now is actually deal with the proper threats. They can't kill Wei Xiao because the team can't dive. It's not even a dive team. Like, yeah, you can initiate off of a pick with Rumble and Orianna and all that, and you can do that. But in a team fight, this GPL squad doesn't get to reach the back line. Stop shockwaving Wei Xiao. You've got to say we either pull Messiah back with a shockwave behind him and pick him out with no defile damage, or they wait on PDD, bait him out, throw so many shields at themselves that they don't take any initial AoE and be like, no resets for you, we're all still healthy, kill Kha'Zix, and then try to clean up the fight from there.
Let's have a look down the items here, because we've not done that for a little while. We do see, actually, we'll forget that because they're going to try and close in on towards Rumble for this one. Let's see if that glitter lands from Chow Chow can actually land onto Emu and get him in. And there is the Thresh Lantern. Will pull him off to safety, but that sets them up nicely to push this top lane down. Look at Caitlyn, Infinity Edge, Phantom Dancer, Last Whisper, Quicksilver Sash, and those Berserker Greaves. Compare that to the Bloodthirst, the Shiv, a BF Sword, and that Locket of the Iron Solari. Certainly, in damage, you can't even compare them.
Not at all. The only way that Wei Xiao even dies in this fight is if he gets caught by a Thresh Hook or by Chowi's ultimate. So the only thing Wei Xiao needs to buy here is, well, I didn't bring Cleanse, so I'll bring this instead. I can't see Wei Xiao dying unless his team gets mopped up in a team fight and he sticks around too long. So it's a 9-kill Caitlyn who's very scary and is not going to fall over. It's a hard thing to deal with.
Gonna have that wild growth as well if needed. Although Messiah going to be a prime target for that as well once he dives straight into the middle and getting that defile range down. Toys here has to deal with super minions coming in the middle, which could actually cause them some problems over in this top lane because the push is coming in from the LPL All-Stars. You can see the wall of pain slowing them down. PDD trying to dig away from that side as well.
So right now it's GPL trying to catch up in items. The problem is they don't have a lot of time for this because Baron is being started by LPL. Problem is LPL has actually not enough vision control. They haven't swept the ward out that looks at Baron. GPL is not going to fall for this.
No, to do with that Oracle to come in there, and well, the hook from Mistake not connecting whatsoever, and there was a ward on his position as well. There you see the Void Spikes and what they can do to Toys. So another wall of pain goes down. And they are starting to clear things out. Are the LPL All-Stars here going to go for Baron because they see Toys coming away? Actually, the Requiem is going to come down straight away from this one. Is that going to be enough to force them back? That was Captain Obvious play in my book when you want to go for Baron. Put that Requiem down and hope that they're going to be too low to even dare challenging for it. But right now, they're stood on top of a ward. And the Southeast Asian side know exactly where they are.
Yeah, well, the thing is, they had a minion advantage for a while. Just now, the mid inhibitor respawned. LPL wanted to say, look, lose your base or lose Baron, choose one. Turns out they actually didn't have to lose either one. Toys backed, pretty much at the right time. Not enough pressure was made by LPL. Again, because that ward was there, GPL didn't get baited into anything. However, here comes PDD from the side.
Coming in from around the side. And Green All-Stars. What was that? Where did those Void Spikes come from? They will back away. We finally have Troll clearing out that ward, which is a welcome thing for the LPL All-Stars. We've got that Lantern to throw around as well, which will maybe make some difference. There's 3 traps down there by Wei Xiao on that ramp. That is a nice thing to do. The Stroll is actually going to go in there. Gets the knockback onto Mistake. Messiah is right on top of them. And here comes PDD. Zonya's used by Toys, but it's not going to be enough. A decent shockwave comes out, but honestly, I'm not sure that it's going to change the outcome of this one. It's a double kill for PDD. Here comes the ace in the hole. Chowi just about escaping, but where they're going to run to from this one? They're running north. Toys is actually inside of the brush here. Going to be spotted. Wei Xiao going to go head to head with Hallelujah, who will flash over the wall. There it's a one-shot. Wei Xiao is legendary. Hallelujah on top of a trap right now. Wei Xiao definitely doesn't want to give him that gold. Will go to middle and auto-attack himself back to hell.
This is very, very good for the LPL squad. Only Hallelujah is alive. Wei Xiao managed to win that duel in very impressive fashion, so this gives them control of the base. This is inhibitor for free, and I'm not sure if they can Baron off this. They're still a little bit hurt.
Still a little bit hurt. Troll does still, of course, have the Oracle, so we'll see if he decides to do anything with that one. The bottom side of the jungle of the Green All-Stars is up and available for the taking, but of course that's not really the focus. Yeah, red buff would be nice, but they are going to go for Baron. Let's not forget that Caitlyn there, with that Bloodthirster in there, is going to be healing up very, very quickly on that one. And are they going to try and bait them in? It'd be a very risky play just because of how low Wei Xiao is. And the fact he's 10-1-6 right now. It's a lot of gold to be giving over to someone if he does die.
LPL almost bit off a little bit more than they could chew there. I was actually trying to watch the movements. Wei Xiao went toward red buff, and they're like, no, we can do Baron, we can do Baron. So he turns around. PDD jumps on a Baron. They start that. No, wait, guys, they know about this. They're coming up to us. We got to stop this. They pull back down. They jump in the brush. Okay, well, maybe they're going to go for it. We can stop them. They start recalling. No, wait, maybe they're actually going for it. We need to stop recalling. Just a word. Okay, Wei Xiao, go to base.
Maybe a little bit of not so strong communication. Let's not call it bad, because right now these teams are not looking bad whatsoever. But there are the times where you do notice that you've got 3 players from one team and 2 from another team, that you've not practiced hours and hours and hours for weeks and weeks on end with each other, which is, of course, what you're going to get when it comes to an all-star game like this. Messiah, of course, is looking very strong right now, going to be moving up towards that death cap by the looks of things here shortly. Does have the Xerath's Embrace plus that Rod of Ages in there as well. Other side, Zhonya's Hourglass for Toys. We saw that being used earlier on with the Athene's Unholy Grail as well.
Okay, so very, very powerful here. Toys does have a good, decent grasp of items here. He's going towards the death cap as well. He's really going to need that because they just need a bit more damage on their team right now. However, he's not going to get enough time to complete it as LPL are already starting off Baron.
Baron has been started. We are going to see the Garena All-Stars coming in. Hallelujah just started to charge up there with the elastic slingshot, but it's not going to be able to be stolen. He was smited by Troll. There goes the shockwave. They managed to take down Messiah, but he's going to really bring out that Requiem. Is it going to bring the pain? Yes, but not quite as much as before. But look at PDD. He's on top of them. They're going to clean up here. Oh. That is an ace. A quadra kill in the end coming out. It was Wei Zhao who got number 5 there to stop the penta for PDD. What a fight from LPL All-Stars.
Scumbag Wei Zhao letting Doublelift be the only pentakill so far. Or Doublelift have the only pentakill so far in the All-Star tournament. But this could easily be the Nexus here for LPL. They're diving in for the Nexus.
Yeah, they're going to go for this one here. They got those shields coming out, Lulu. And forget that, they've got super minions coming in. They're going to rip through this one. And the hometown favorites here, the LPL All-Stars, are going to take game number 1 against the Garena All-Stars, and will be just 1 round away from the grand final of the All-Star Tournament weekend.
Absolutely great play by those guys. It was close for a while, but the end game, they really, really turned it on. And I gotta say, the number 1 thing there was actually their team fighting. Maybe the number 1 thing was PDD.